Wow, this weather is gorgeous this afternoon, and it is supposed to rain later today. I think maybe around 6 or 7 p.m. But this afternoon I want to collect some soil samples from where we're going to be planting our wheat, where we're going to do field corn for chicken feed, and of course our garden. And here in West Virginia, and it's probably the same in a lot of other states, you can send off a soil sample for free. You just have to pay for shipping. And then they give you recommendations as far as what you can do to improve your soil. And that can even be like according to what type of crop you're going to plant there, whether it's a vegetable garden, corn, hay, all kinds of things. So you might, if you want to get your soil tested, you might check with your local extension service and see if they offer that service for free as well. We did have our garden tested last year, which the soil came back pretty acidic, and we did end up liming it according to their recommendations, but we're going to test it again because we kind of suspect that it might need another round of lime. So what I'm going to do for each one of these areas, starting here with our hayfield, starting with our wheat, is just kind of walk in a zigzag pattern, collecting like 10 to 20 samples. I'm going to put all of that in a bucket, mix it together, removing any like little sticks, rocks, any grass, stuff like that. And then I'll crumble that up really good, let it dry, and then I'll collect like out of that sample 1 to 2 cups and send that off to the extension service. And I'll just repeat that for all 3 of the areas that I'm going to test today. So I'm going to get started with the wheat field. And you know, we could do our hay area as well, but since we're not, we could test our hay area as well, but since we're not using that for animal feed, it's not really necessary. And where is Kaja? Oh, she's way up on top of the hill. Kaja! Come on. Come on, Coach. Good girl. What do you think about this weather, Coach? Huh? Is it good? Is it good weather? This clay is just too wet and gooey today to use a little soil sampler guy. Oh, yeah. Alright, I got all the samples I need for the wheat field. I'm going to mark this bucket as being the wheat field, and then I'm going to go down and test where we're going to be planting the field corn. Right here was where we planted our second plot of corn last year, but this was sweet corn, it wasn't field corn, and to say that it did poorly would be an overstatement. We got absolutely nothing out of this corn plot, and I think it was just because we got it in a little bit too late. But the plan this year is to do a much larger area of corn, and we're not doing the sweet corn. This is what I'm talking about is for our chicken feed. We're doing the field corn, and it's probably going to be like, it's kind of hard to tell here, but it's probably going to be like most of this kind of area here. I don't know, we still have to sit down and like draw out the actual where the fence is going to be. And of course we have to fence the corn in, because if we don't fence our corn in, the raccoons will absolutely decimate it. Luckily with our wheat, the only thing that really bothered our wheat, and we did not fence our wheat in, was turkeys early on in the season, right after we planted it. And I don't know how much they actually ate, but we're going to try to not fence in the wheat again this year, especially since we don't know like how long we're actually going to be homesteading here. So we don't want to go doing a whole bunch of excessive fencing, and definitely probably not doing any kind of more permanent fencing, just because we don't want to have to deal with taking all that down. and it's extra work anyway. But we have to fence in the field corn plot that we're going to do, and I think for that we'll probably just end up doing like T-post fencing, nothing extreme, but we definitely got to keep the raccoons out of it. So it's going to be a pretty big area somewhere along here. So I'm just going to kind of walk through here and take some random samples, and it'll probably all work out. Now, this is a little bit sloped here, so I think the corn will do just fine. But there is the concern about kind of growing on sloped ground that the water may run off more. Not too concerned about it. We'll see how it goes. I don't think it's going to be much of an issue. And another thing is at this point, at least right now, as long as the weather permits us to be able to do it, we want to start the field corn a week or two ahead of our sweet corn that will be growing in our garden. The reason for that is we want to avoid any cross-pollination potential, because technically these two corn plots, our sweet corn and our field corn, are close enough that there could be cross-contamination. But we're hoping by offsetting our planting date that we can prevent that from happening. However, last year I saved an excessive amount of our rainbow Inca sweet corn just in case something goes wrong and we do get cross-contamination. And if you watched our videos about husking and making the corn crib and then shelling the corn that we were using for chicken feed, which I said again was sweet corn, then you know we got 75 pounds of corn to feed the chickens, which completely blew my mind. Anyway, it ended up lasting probably for, I don't know, a couple months, I guess, which that was in the dead of winter. So it worked out really good to be feeding them that corn during the coldest time of the year. And it was kind of awesome to not have any feed bill for that amount of time. I would just like to have many more months of that. This soil down here, for whatever reason, last year when we tilled it, it seemed to be a lot better than our garden soil. I think that maybe it has slightly less clay content to it for whatever reason, but it definitely tilled up into a nicer, finer soil. So it's going to be interesting to see what the results are of the soil test for this area.
You want an onion?
Gonna check our garden soil now, and all the chickens are following me because they think a bucket means I have food. So we're gonna do this together, guys, right? Can we dig a hole for you guys so you have some worms? Here, Chickie! Oh, there's worms. Audrey will dig you a hole. Dig a hole for him, Cuz. Don't peck me.
I don't see any worms, lady.
I got all the samples I need. I'm gonna get this in the house, spread it out on a cookie sheet and get it drying, and then hopefully by the beginning of next week I can get these sent off and in the mail, because it only takes like a week or two to get the results back. It really is a fast turnaround. And hopefully we get the part for our tractor back soon. It's like a hydraulic thing, and when we dropped it off they said it would only be like a week, but it's going on 3 weeks now, and apparently they just got like a backlog of stuff. So hopefully soon we'll have our tractor back in action, because we need to get this dead corn, these corn stalks, brush hogged and start spreading the hay out that we have in the shed over the garden, and start getting the garden ready, because it won't be long before it's going to be time to plant the potatoes. I thought about going ahead and starting my tomato seeds today, but it actually started raining finally, so I'm just gonna wait till Sunday or Monday when it's not raining, and then I can keep all that dirt and stuff outside, because I hate having that in the house. So instead, Katja and I are going to start dinner, and I'm doing spaghetti tonight, but I need to make the noodles first, and then of course I'm gonna make the meatballs, and then spaghetti sauce from our homemade canned tomato sauce.